What's up, guys? This is Ask the Health Coach, and I'm your host, Carlos. And today we're talking about a question I get from a lot of my health coaching clients who are 40 and over. And that question is, can I still get fit or in shape after the age of 40? And the answer to that question is this. So today we're going to answer the question, can you lose weight after the age of 40? The answer to that question is a definite yes. It doesn't change no matter what age you are. Whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, it's never too late. As long as you're breathing air, as long as your heart is pumping, you can still get in the best shape of your life. A lot of people also ask this, I never worked out before in my life, or I haven't worked out in 10, 15, 20 years. Can I still lose that weight? Yes, you can. That doesn't matter. No matter how long you've been without a regular exercise routine, or if you never exercised before, you can still reach your weight loss goals, getting that blood pressure down, getting those blood sugar levels down. You can reach all of these goals no matter what age you are. And I'm going to share some steps today on how to get there when it comes to exercise and also when it comes to nutrition. But before we step into that, I want to talk about what you shouldn't do before you start this plan. Now, the thing you don't want to do after the age of 40 when it comes to your fitness, your exercise routine, is you don't want to go in too gung-ho, especially if you never worked out before or you haven't worked out 5, 10, 15 years. We don't want to do that because all we're going to do is put a lot of stress on our body too soon. This is going to put you at high risk for injury. This is also going to make you want to quit because your body's just not ready for this type of intensity of, an hour or 2 hours at the gym for 6 days out of the week. Barely any rest breaks. Do not do this. This is a recipe for disaster. Trust me, after the first 2, maybe 3 weeks, you may make it 3 weeks, maybe 4, I'll give you 4. You may make it 4 weeks to a month before you decide this is too much, I can't do it. You're wearing your body down, you wear yourself down mentally also because you're going in with that all or nothing mindset. You feel like if I don't do this every day, then I'm gonna fall off the wagon. That's not the case. We want to make small steps, all right? We're going to get into that later on, but we want to make small steps in reaching this goal. When it comes to the nutrition aspect, after 40 years old, you don't want to go on a nutrition plan or a diet that's very restrictive. A lot of us are tempted to go on a keto diet or any other diet that's very restrictive that doesn't allow you to eat certain foods, right? We don't want to do that. Now, I do want us to kind of reduce the sugars and everything as much as possible, the added sugars, the highly processed or ultra processed type of carbohydrates. I do want us to reduce those, but we don't want to go as drastic as a keto diet or any other diet that restricts certain fruits, vegetables, how you eating these high fats, high proteins, and barely any carbohydrates, because there are still some good carbs out there. We just have to make sure we're very strategic in picking out those high fiber carbohydrates. So that's the main key there when it comes to the diet. Do not go with something very restrictive. A lot of us have this intent that, hey, I'll lose this 30, 40 pounds in the first 3 to 4 months, then I'll get back on track with a regular nutrition plan. Trust me, a lot of people have this intent. I talked to a lot of clients in the past that had this good intention of doing that. But research has shown that 80% of people who do restrictive diets that lose weight that quick tend to gain that weight back within the first 2 to 3 months after getting off that diet. They tend to gain that weight back plus more. And I don't want you to fall into that trap. I don't want you to, all right? Because again, it is a trap. Most of these diets work for the short term. So you'll lose that weight short term, but you sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice muscle tissue. We're going to talk about that, why that's important. You also lose the fat tissue in the process too, which is the one we want to lose, but we don't want to sacrifice that muscle tissue, right? We don't want to sacrifice our mental health either. Mentally, these restrictive diets can hit you very hard because it reduces your socialization with family, friends, things like that, because you don't want to go to events with them or going out to eat because you don't want to risk eating something that's not on that list of the diet that you're on. So these are some ways that you can easily sabotage yourself in the beginning. So now let's talk about some strategies on how to reach your goals, whether it be losing 30 pounds, getting your blood pressure down by 10 points, getting your A1C down by 2 or 3 points, whatever that goal may be. Let's talk about how you can do this in a very strategic and sensible way. First, let's talk about how you should program your exercise routine after the age of 40. It doesn't change much from when you're 20 or 30. When you're 40, when it comes to your exercise programming, what you want to do, you want to carve out, let's say 20 or 30 minutes, 2 to 3 days out of the week for the first 2 to 3 months. This way, it's not too overwhelming. It's not too much at one time. It's going to show you that you can handle these 2 or 3 days, 20 to 30 minutes versus trying to do an hour, 2 hours, 6 days out of the week. That becomes very fatiguing to the body, and then you're going to quit. But if you do it this way, you're less likely to quit because you're taking small steps to get there. This is very strategic. This is the first step, figuring out, okay, how many days can I realistically do based on my work schedule, based on my family's schedule. Like, what do my kids have after school? Do I got to drop my kids off at school? What kind of activities do we have on the weekend? What kind of workload do I have at work? What kind of projects do I have to do? How much time is that going to take? So that way, if you can squeeze 20 to 30 minutes, that's only 2% of your day. And that's going to be key. And again, just building up that consistency in your workout routine. Because we want to kind of reverse engineer this. Whatever your goal is, we want to reverse engineer it and figure out how can we get there step by step. And that's goal number 1. Goal number 2 is being very specific with that goal on how you're going to get there. So, number 1 is figuring out the time of day that works best for you. If you're not an early morning riser, then you might have to do it in the evening. If you know you're very fatigued mentally and physically at the end of the day because of the family activities, because of work, then the evening may not work for you. Then the morning may not work for you because you're not an early morning riser. But if you're not an early morning riser because you're staying up late at night, then we can easily correct that. We can easily come up with a sleep routine that'll get you to bed at a reasonable time so you get that 7 to 8 hours, get up by 5 o'clock, get your 30-minute workout in, be done by 5:30, take a quick shower, be done with your shower between 5:45, 6 o'clock, get the kids up, get them ready, get breakfast ready, and you're on your way to work. And at the end of the day, you already got everything done as far as your exercise routine. You can finish the day off with a light stretch right before bed, and that can help you out so much in just coming up with a key plan to get you going. But let's say you're just not a morning person. You don't like to get up. No matter even if you do go to bed early, you still don't want to get up early in the morning. Second option is this. During your work day, every 2 hours, carve out 10 minutes. Step away from the desk, step away from your office, go for a walk outside. Do some squats at your desk. Do some jumping jacks. Do just a light workout that doesn't get you too sweaty, but do it for 10 minutes every 2 hours while you're at work. Go walk the stairs. Go walk a few miles outside. Whatever you feel is going to work best for you to get this going and getting this started, right? So those are the 2 options you have if you know you're not an evening person because you're too fatigued at the end of the day. All right. Step number 3, when it comes to your physical activity, you have to figure out what exercises do you actually enjoy and what's going to work best for you and your schedule. Is it going to be going to the gym? Because the gym is not for everybody. Because again, we got to make sure we have time to get there. Are our kids too young to take them with us? If that's the case, then we have to say, okay, I'm going to have to do home workouts instead. And they can be a home workout in the morning, or again, you can take those 10 minutes throughout the day and get them done that way. If you can do it in the evening, you're not super fatigued, you got 30 minutes before dinner, then go ahead and knock it out before dinner time. Just let your family know, hey, this is my 30 minutes. I'm going to do this on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That way I can get my workout done. I'll be ready for dinner. And then you can have that time with your family. All right? Same thing if they have events such as baseball, basketball, football. Can you do some activities like walking around or running around the field, outside the gate while they're playing football? Can you run up and down the bleachers while they're playing basketball? That type of thing. Just try to include some exercise while you can still participate in your kids' events, but at the same time, you're prioritizing your health. And this is a way to kind of develop those good habits with things you already do. If you notice a lot of your time is going towards social media or Netflix, maybe you can incorporate those at the same time. Let's say you're at the gym, you can listen to your podcast, you can watch a Netflix show, whatever you want to do right there on the treadmill, on the bike, while you're lifting your weights. You can kind of have your buds in and listen to your podcast or your audio book. That way you can kill two birds with one stone, okay? So those are the ways you kind of get it started on the fitness part when you're trying to lose that weight over the age of 40. The second thing I want to talk about is the nutrition part. Now when it comes to your nutritional goals after the age of 40, it doesn't change much as it was in your 20s and 30s. It changes a little bit because sometimes in our 20s and 30s we can, binge eat, we can eat all the chips and junk food we want and not gain a pound, right? But now that has changed. Our hormones are changing during this time, both men and women. Men would tend to lose a little of our testosterone. Women, the estrogen is starting to drop, that type of thing. So we have to really hone in and figure out what's going to work for us on a diet plan. Not going too restrictive. We never want to go like on a keto diet or some very restrictive diet that removes a lot of our fiber, a lot of our vegetables and fruits, which provides us with vitamins and minerals. We don't want to do anything like that that's very restrictive because it's not sustainable. We want to look for things that are going to be sustainable for the long term. We're not looking for a quick fix, right? We want something long term because this is for our health. This is for our family, so we can be healthy for them in the long term. So when it comes to planning your nutritional diet plan, step number one is to actually plan, right? You have to plan. Grocery list. Create that, because you go into the grocery store without a plan, you tend to detour, grab a lot of stuff that you didn't need, a lot of stuff that's not going to help you get closer to that goal but get you further away from that goal. So create that grocery list, figure out what foods do I need to get in order to get to that goal, whether it be 30-pound weight loss, get my blood pressure down, get my A1C down, whatever that goal may be. What type of foods do I need to eat in order to get to that ultimate goal? I'm not saying you're not going to have some days where you eat pizza, some days where you may eat burgers, but we want to try to reduce the processed foods, our ultra processed foods, as much as possible. We want to reduce as much as the added sugar, added fats as much as possible. The way you do this is by adding more nutrient dense foods. Our nutrient dense foods are the foods that are high in fiber, like our whole grains, our vegetables, our fruits, lean sources of protein such as chicken, fish, turkey. Also, healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds. We're looking for these highly nutrient-dense foods because over the last 10, 15 years, we've been eating very calorie-dense foods. Those are our cookies, our pies, our cakes, potato chips. These are very calorie dense, so they provide us with 600-700 calories, but they lack in nutritional value, right? They give us all the added sugar, they give us all the added fat, but no nutritional value. But when you go to nutrient dense foods, you reduce your calories by half. So you go from 700 to, let's say, 3 to 350 when you start eating nutrient dense food. You're getting more fiber, you're getting more vitamins, minerals. You get more lean sources of protein, more healthy fats because you change that up. And this is going to make you feel fuller longer. When you're eating those calorie-dense foods, you'll keep going back for more and more, and you're wondering, wow, why do I keep eating all these snacks all day or these highly fat foods all day? It's because your body is not satisfied. It's not getting the nutrition it needs. But when you start feeding it these highly nutrient-dense foods, you're going to feel very satisfied, which is going to make you eat less of the ultra-processed foods. That's step number one, planning ahead. Another thing you can do when you plan ahead is, let's say you have events with your kids after school or on the weekend. You just didn't quite plan a lunch or anything for that day. You got to go out to eat, right? Use your phone, find the restaurants that are nearby, See what options they have. If you go out to Chick-fil-A, for instance, instead of getting the fried chicken sandwich, you can say, hey, I'm gonna get the Harvest Green salad. It has fruits, has vegetables, it has granola, nuts, a nice light dressing, it has some chicken, give me some protein also. And if the calories are too high, you can easily eat half of that salad for that day, and then the next day for lunch, have the other half. This is how you strategically plan your nutrition or your diet ahead of time so you make the right choices when those days come up. Because a lot of times the reason we fail is because we don't plan ahead when it comes to our nutrition, and that's going to be key. So those are our first two. The third thing you want to do when it comes to nutrition is you want to track your meals for at least 2 to 3 weeks. You don't have to do this for a long period of time because it becomes overwhelming trying to track that food day after day for months and months and months. And we don't want that. We don't want another task or another thing you have to do that makes it very inconvenient. I just want you to do this for like 2 to 3 weeks. Go to MyFitnessPal, or you can do it on pen and paper, whichever one works best for you. Now this way, when you track your food, this way you can know exactly how many calories am I taking in on average per day. How can I adjust this to reach my goal, right? How can I decrease the calorie intake? How much sugar, added sugar, am I getting in per day? I'm getting 90 grams of added sugar. How can I get that down to 25 grams per day? My sodium is 3,200 milligrams on average per day. How can I get that down to 1,800? When you know these numbers, it gives you a way to kind of plan and have a strategy to get these numbers down. Now, what most of us make the mistake of doing is we see these numbers and we want to change everything all at once. This has become very overwhelming. What I suggest is this. Take one thing, let's say it's the sugar intake, that's 90 grams per day, you're trying to get it down to 25. Focus on that for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Once you feel like you accomplished that goal, then move on to the next. The next goal could be, hey, my portions are huge, I'm getting too many calories in at each meal. That's the next goal. How can I reduce my portion sizes? Focus on that for 2 to 3 weeks. So on and so on until you get every category where you want it to be. So don't push it too much when it comes to the exercise and when it comes to nutrition goals. Make sensible and strategic goals to get you to that ultimate goal. Take those small steps to get to that big goal at the end. That is key if you really want to see a change in your body and how you look after the age of 40. This is going to be very important if you want to see those changes happen. If you want to see that blood pressure going down, you want to see those inches drop, you want to get that A1C down. It's going to be key to come up with these strategies to hit those goals, taking those small steps to get to that big goal in the end. So let me know in the comments below, what are some barriers or obstacles that you deal with on a daily basis that keeps you from even just starting a workout plan or starting a healthy nutrition plan? What are the barriers? Is it here in your mind? Are you psyching yourself out saying, man, I can never do it? Or man, this is too much, too soon? What is the barrier that's keeping you from starting? Is it time? Is it your schedule? What do you need to do in order to get over these barriers and obstacles? And that's another major component, knowing your obstacles and barriers that's holding you back. When you know these, you can come up with that strategy, you can come up with that plan that's sensible, that's going to help you get to those goals. Again, my name is Carlos. This is Ask the Health Coach. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that like button. Turn on the notification bell so you get more videos just like this. And share this with somebody else you know that needs to hear this, that can help them out. Till next time, peace.